Welcome back, Wellness Warriors, to the Entheogen Explorer channel. I'm your host, Caitlin Thompson, and in this video, I'm going to share with you my top 5 favorite picks for the best prebiotic foods to support your digestive, immune, brain, and whole body wellness, including one that you might want to skip if you're about to go on a first date. Stick around to the end to find out which one of these top 5 prebiotic foods may cause intense waves of flatulence. Lately, there has been a lot of hype about the importance of probiotics for maintaining digestive, immune, and even mood health. But something that gets mentioned very less so is the importance of prebiotics. Prebiotics might actually be more critical to your digestive health than probiotics, given that they have a direct influence on what type of microbial populations grow in our guts. So what are prebiotics? Prebiotic foods are whole foods that contain various types of fiber, which acts as food for beneficial bacteria. This fiber can result in these blooms of good bacteria in our guts, which helps support our immune system, our digestion, and even our mood. The population of microorganisms that live in our intestine is called our microbiome, and there are as many as 10 trillion organisms living inside our intestines as we speak. There's actually more bacteria cells in our bodies than there are human cells. Isn't that wild? Many prebiotic foods contain fibers such as INULIN, fructooligosaccharides or FOS, and resistant starches. Now, we can't really digest any of these fibers, but the microbes in our guts can. They actually ferment these fibers and turn them into metabolic byproducts such as short-chain fatty acid molecules such as butyrate, acetate, and propionate. All of these are super important for modulating different cellular processes in our bodies and also act as fuel for our cells. These are super fundamental for keeping us healthy and vibrant. That's why it's important to have good bacteria that are turning the fiber we eat into these short-chain fatty acid molecules. Not all fibers can be considered prebiotic. However, most prebiotics are dietary fibers. One example of this is the common plant fiber cellulose, which is not easily digested by our gut bacteria. Though cellulose does seem to increase the rate of digestive cycling, which can actually reduce the amount of opportunistic time that pathogenic bacteria have to grow and cause an infection. We see something similar with psyllium husk, which actually pushes and delays fermentation into the lower parts of the intestine where we actually want fermentation to be happening versus in earlier parts of the digestive tract such as the small intestine. So why do we want fermentation to happen in the large intestine versus the small intestine? Well, most of our microbiome is actually contained in the large intestine, which is further down in the intestinal tract. This is where microbes do things like help us extract nutrients from our food, produce these short-chain fatty acid signaling molecules, and protect us from pathogens. By comparison, the small intestine is relatively sterile compared to the large intestine in that it actually isn't meant to have a lot of bacteria living there. When we have really poor diets that are high in sugar and low in fiber, we end up developing something called small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, which can lead us to feeling sick, lethargic, and even developing food sensitivities. Fibers such as inulin, fructooligosaccharides, and resistant starches are the most common prebiotics and are actually just long, complex chains of sugars such as glucose and sucrose. Now, glucose and sucrose on their own are considered simple sugars, and this is what we find in desserts, in fruits, and in starchy carbohydrates like rice, wheat, and corn. Now, the more resistant and complex a fiber is to break down, the later in the digestive tract that it will be broken down by bacteria and consumed as a prebiotic fuel. This is what we want because we want the bacteria in the large intestine to be getting the food rather than in situations where we're eating simple carbs such as rice or sugar or fruit, where the simple sugars are getting absorbed by bacteria in our small intestine, which can contribute to this bacterial overgrowth in the small intestine. So how does our diet influence our microbiome? This is one of the reasons why our diet is so fundamental to our health. Every time we eat, we are actually feeding certain populations of microorganisms in our guts. A poor diet may feed pathogenic bacteria that leads to inflammation, digestive problems, and poor immune function. Many diseases start with imbalance in the gut microbiome, including diabetes, obesity, mental illnesses, Alzheimer's disease, and autoimmune diseases. Every time we eat, not only are we feeding ourselves, but we're also feeding trillions of microorganisms. The standard American diet severely lacks dietary fiber from plants. And when you compare the American diet to that of developing more rural countries, you can see that we are consuming about 7 times less dietary fiber in our diets than other places. Because of this, in these developing countries, you virtually see no heart disease, obesity, autism, dementia, and other microbiome-related diseases. So now that you know what prebiotics are and why they're so important for our health, let's explore some ways that we can incorporate these prebiotic foods into our daily lives so that your gut microbiome can be healthy and happy. Here are my 5 best prebiotic foods that I recommend you incorporate into your diet. Cabbage is a cheap and nutritious way to get prebiotic fiber. Most of the prebiotics in cabbage are fructooligosaccharides. Cabbage is a member of the cruciferous family and contains these beneficial molecules called glucosinolates. Glucosinolates have been found to prevent the risk of colon, bladder, and other types of cancer. Cabbage is also full of antioxidant molecules which fight damaging free radicals and prevent aging and DNA damage. Because cabbage has such strong prebiotic effects, it's great for fermenting into sauerkraut and kimchi. When you allow bacteria to ferment the cabbage, they can actually release nutrients from the cabbage and turn the food into a more nutritious form. This is why I recommend eating your cabbage as fermented sauerkraut or kimchi. Chicory root comes from a plant that is in the dandelion family and has bright blue flowers. It has a coffee-like taste to it and has been used as a caffeine-free coffee alternative. It contains high amounts of INULIN, and scientific studies have shown that it can reduce constipation and improve bowel movement regularity. The INULIN in chicory root has been found to boost beneficial bacteria that are important for carbohydrate metabolism, and this results in increased blood sugar control and insulin sensitivity. Chicory root also contains a fiber called oligofructose, which has been found to reduce the hormone ghrelin, which is responsible for stimulating appetite. Green bananas contain resistant starches that once the banana is ripe, get converted into the simple sugar fructose. If eaten while green, bananas have these complex carbohydrate resistant starches that act as prebiotics. Green banana flour is made from unripe green bananas and can be added to shakes, smoothies, soups, puddings, and even baked goods. Scientific research has shown that green banana flour can increase the amount of good bifidobacteria in the gut, which is a population of microorganisms that are super important for immune, brain, and digestive health. Science has also shown that green banana flour helps stabilize blood sugar levels, maintain a proper integrity of the gut barrier, and to also resolve diarrhea symptoms. You can also take green bananas and fry them or bake them or really cook them as if you would cook a potato. Burdock is a root that is both a prebiotic food and a traditional Asian medicine. It's been used as a medicinal herb for thousands of years, and it's from the sunflower family. It contains INULIN and fructooligosaccharides, as well as nutrients, polyphenols, and antioxidant compounds. Traditionally, it's been used to treat skin conditions, improve detoxification, and reduce inflammation, all benefits of having a healthy microbiome. Burdock root can be eaten just the same way as most root vegetables can be. You can cook it or you can eat it raw. It has a sweet, earthy, crunchy taste to it, and you can saute it, roast it, fry it, or grate it and put it on a salad. I like to add it to stir fries, or you can cut it into little French fry type shapes and actually make burdock fries from it. It's very versatile and has a really lovely flavor. Jerusalem artichokes, also known as sunchokes, is a root that can be cooked or eaten raw. It's full of high levels of INULIN, and like the burdock root, is part of the sunflower family. Some studies suggest that Jerusalem artichokes might actually be more effective at boosting beneficial bacteria than even chicory root. Other studies also suggest that Jerusalem artichokes may be effective in reducing colon cancer, inflammation, and improving immune function. Jerusalem artichokes can be prepared in many of the same ways that potatoes can, with the exception that they can actually be eaten raw. So you can bake them, fry them, roast them, saute them, or eat them raw on a salad. And you might actually want to try them raw because they have a really nice, crunchy, sweet taste to them. And cooking does destroy some of the INULIN. So if you want the most prebiotic INULIN that you can possibly get, then I recommend trying to eat the sunchokes raw. So I have a fun little nickname for Jerusalem artichoke. I like to call them fartichokes, and I bet that you can guess why. Remember at the beginning when I said I would warn you about one of these prebiotic foods that was not suitable for a Netflix and chill kind of day? Well, this is it. Now, even though there are so many health benefits to eating Jerusalem fartichokes, I will warn you that they have the ability to cause relentless and profuse amounts of flatulence. This is because bacteria are actually eating the prebiotic INULIN and fermenting it and releasing methane gas in the process. Now, eating fartichokes has the ability to cause an astronomical frequency and volume of flatulence. So I'm not encouraging you to ditch sunchokes, but I am encouraging you to strategically time when you decide to eat them. So perhaps avoiding them when you have a hot date or a long plane ride in the next 24 hours is best. That being said, even though the side effects are somewhat uncomfortable and awkward, rest assured that if you do experience flatulence, that it's totally normal and it means that your microbiome is getting fed good stuff and that you're getting the benefits of your prebiotic fiber. Now you may be wondering, are prebiotic foods enough on their own? While they're amazing at fertilizing bacteria living in our guts, sometimes we do need a little bit of help in reseeding the populations of microorganisms with the right types of bacteria. This is where a high-quality probiotic can be super helpful in supporting your health. Prebiotics are amazing for nurturing and fertilizing the bacteria in our guts, but sometimes we need a little extra support and need to actually reintroduce certain types of bacteria to promote biodiversity and microbiome health. This is where having a high-quality probiotic makes all the difference. I recommend checking out ZenBiotic, our cutting-edge spore-based probiotic. There's a link in the description below. You can get 20% off your first purchase if you want to try it out. Having a good probiotic is super important for making sure that we have the right types of bacteria to even feed the prebiotics too. So combining prebiotics and probiotics can make a world of difference in helping improve your gut, brain, immune, digestive, and whole body health. If you dug this video, be sure to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss a beat, because every Monday at 6 p.m. PST, I release another video with content that helps empower you to being the healthiest, happiest, and most awesome version of yourself. If you like this video, give us a comment, let us know what you think and if you've had experiences with these prebiotic foods. And if you want to give any of these prebiotic foods a try, I've put some links in the description below that are affiliate links to products that I recommend. So you can try them out, experiment with your microbiome, and if you want to support Entheozen as a channel, you can use the link below where we get a little kickback so we can keep making these awesome videos for you. I love you guys, smile on my warriors, and I will catch you next time. Mwah! Damaging free radicals and prevent aging and DNA damage. Blah, 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 blah. Sunchokes might be more effective than chicory root even for things like at boosting beneficial bacteria. Prebiotics can feed beneficial bacteria if we already have them in our...
I'm tired.